So at this point, I've done 3 separate videos going very in-depth with the acceleration data of my 2017 Fiat 124 Spider Abarth. I've been doing it when it was stock, to the Eurocompulsion Phase 1 tune, and then compared to their Phase 2 tune. For this video, I'm going to keep it short and sweet and just share the hard data. Now, I'll have the links below and above to the in-depth videos, which really goes in-depth, showing all the variables and everything. So if you want to learn more, you can check those out. Real quick, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps the channel. Now, one of the main goals when I'm doing these comparisons is to try and minimize the variables as much as I can. So all these runs were done at the same exact temperature, according to my iPhone, 45 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and they were all done on the same exact road. Now, 2 other huge variables that are controllable are launching and shifting. And by controllable, that means I just don't do them. That's how I control them. I don't do them. Those are 2 huge variables that could affect your time, so I just completely eliminate them. What does that mean? I'm doing a 3rd gear pull from the bottom to top, 30 miles an hour to 75 miles an hour, and I'm using my Draggy to calculate the elapsed time from 30 to 75 miles an hour. Some of you may know that pretty soon I'll be putting the Eurocompulsion 1446 Plus Turbo on and going with their Phase 3. So you might be asking, why am I doing a through the phases video if I'm doing another, Phase 3 turbo pretty soon? Honestly, this metric here, 3rd gear, 30 to 75, I believe it's going to be skewed if I do 30 to 75 with the Phase 3, because although that turbo isn't huge, it's still slightly bigger. It's probably going to spool up a hair slower, and you're not going to really see the true performance benefit if I were to do the same exact test. For that, when the time comes, I'll have new videos. I'm going to be doing a 40 to 100 test, which I've already done on Phase 1 and Phase 2, and then we'll go into Phase 3 on that. So real quick, we're going to cover the modifications. Stock, the car was 100% completely stock, never touched or modified. When it was Phase 1, I had the Eurocompulsion Phase 1 Tune, 93 octane. I had their V4 intake. I had a full Ragazone exhaust system, which is their downpipe with high flow cat, their cross pipe, their mid pipe, and their axle back. I had a forged atmospheric blow valve, a forged wastegate actuator, OZ Ultraleggero wheels, which are lighter than the factory Abarth wheels, and a set of Eibach springs. When I went to Phase 2, it was all those mods, including Eurocompulsion race intercooler, Alfa Romeo 4C coil packs, NGK spark plugs, and a new set of Continental tires, which is kind of irrelevant because we're doing 30 to 75 and there's no slippage or tire spin or anything. So hopefully I got all these mods right. I know sometimes I forget a few. It's hard to keep a list of all these at all times, but that should be accurate. So the first I'm going to show you guys real quick is the speedometer going from bottom to top, 30 to 75, 3rd gear. Important thing to notice, you'll see here, is that I hit the gas well before the 35 mile an hour marker, and I synced up the videos, so exactly when each one is at 35, they will be in sync and go up from there. So on the right hand side here, Phase 2, I stopped at a hair below the 75 mile an hour marker just because it's easier on the eyes. If I put it right on it, it kind of blocks off a couple more up and down. So it's about to hit 75, where Phase 1, it's closer to the 70 mile an hour marker. And then stock, we're not even at 70, we're at 65 miles an hour almost. The other thing to take note of is when I went Phase 2, I also went to a larger tire size. That's not going to affect the actual speed of the car, but visually here, looking at the speedometer, it's going to be just a hair off. And what I mean by that is at 30 miles an hour, it was really 30.44, and at 75, the car was really at 76.1. This is according to an online calculator that I used, so the car actually may be a little quicker than what it visually looks like just looking at these speedometer clips. And that's what we're going to look at next, which is the Draggy data. That's going to give us the actual hard numbers, the elapsed time from 30 to 75 miles an hour. So at this point, let's look at the Draggy data. We have stock, Phase 1, Phase 2. It was 45 degrees on all those days according to my iPhone. The Draggy also pulls in the temperature. You're going to see it on the top. It was 45, then 46, then 52. So if anything, it got a little bit warmer, but my iPhone said it was the same. So we'll just base it off of it's all 45 degrees or warmer. Now the DA, the density altitude, also went up between stock Phase 1 and Phase 2, and that's also supposed to make your car slower. Just keep that in mind. I'm not really going to go in depth on it, but the Draggy does pull it up top. You'll see that as well. And we have the humidity again for the folks who want that. But let's go data. That's it. Stock. The car did 7.84 seconds from 30 to 75 miles an hour in third gear. Phase 1, it did 6.44, and Phase 2, it did 5.8. That means the car stock to phase 1 saw a decrease of 17.8% in elapsed time from 30 to 75 miles an hour. And from stock to phase 2, it saw a massive 26% decrease in time. And even from phase 1 to phase 2, just about a 10% decrease in time that it took to go from 30 to 75 miles an hour. This is some pretty impressive data. I kind of put all this together over the time of owning the car from stock to phase 1 to phase 2. And in this video, I'm kind of just putting it all together in a short video, showing you the data right now, and that's about it. So if you're thinking about tuning your car, these are the numbers you may expect. And I say expect because every car is going to react a little bit different. It depends what modifications you have. That's why I shared my exact modifications as well. This is my stock car, my phase 1, my phase 2 with all of my data. I've done this testing a lot and I have more testing coming. Like I said, 40 to 100 pulls. I've done some of those too. Maybe do some quarter-mile pulls. We're going to see that phase 3 turbo, how much of a difference it's going to have compared to stock and phase 1 and phase 2 and all that. So all that stuff is to come. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you to Eurocompulsion for helping me, allow me to keep doing this. All this was done just for clear transparency. This was all done prior to Eurocompulsion sponsoring me and allowing me to move forward with their phase 3 turbo. This was me, a normal customer, doing this data, bought everything full price, no partnership with them or anything. Going forward, as you may know, I do have a sponsorship with them going forward, but this was all done as a regular customer. And even going forward, nothing's gonna be skewed or biased because of that. I'm still gonna keep doing this type of data and work with them to try and make a powerful and safe long-term 124 Spider Abarth. So again, if you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Thank you to everyone who has. Drop a comment, let me know what you think about this. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.